So first run out with a GoPro. So what we're doing this morning, we're doing a walking tour of northwest Brantham. How exciting is that? So what we do, we just crossed over the main road, we're heading across the fields, heading towards East End. Maybe have a look at the farm shop where we usually have breakfast, but we'll show that as we go along. So here's a view of what you can see at the moment. Nice fields, although you have to look down because people let their dogs shit on the path. So you kind of have to look down rather than sort of like at the scenes that you can see, but it's a bit of a shame, but there we go. So we'll stop at various places, let you have a little look at what northwest Brantham and East End is like. Aren't you lucky? So yeah, be with me in a minute. Okay, so we got to the end of the field, and normally over here there's usually a huge great pile of shit, and I normally stand here and go, you're shit, you are, you're shit. But it's only a small pile of shit here, look. As you can see, this is normally all covered in shit basically, and now there's only a really tiny little pile in the corner of shit. But during the summer this place is full of shit, and as you can see over there, you can see a nice sort of winter view across the fields and down to the woods. So what we're going to do now, we're going to head out across this field over there, and then we're going to cut down a little path down the side of the farm field shop and cafe. And then we'll pick you up there. See you in a bit. So we've just crossed over the road that leads from East End round to East Burgo, and we're just walking down the side of the farm field place. In a minute we'll see the well, they've got sort of like petting place where you can stroke goats and chickens and sheep and shit like that. There's a wigwam if you want to freeze your arse off. Some horses, and there's a really lovely cafe. Breakfasts are just insane, and this little path goes right down the side, and there's a nice little wooden gate where you can just nip in, grab something to eat, do a bit of shopping or whatever. There's someone's garage in there, and yeah, and it's really lovely. We had breakfast in there a few weeks back. It was really nice. Worth a visit if you're ever passing. So we'll see more of this in a minute when we get around the corner. So this is a little gate that goes in the Phil Farm Store and Cafe just down the side. And it doesn't look like they're open today, which is a bit strange. It's only Christmas Eve. But anyway, on we go down this path, and it's just down here that I saw a massive snake. It was about 5 centimetres long, and it hissed at me. And yeah, it was massive. It was going to kill me, but I managed to run away. I think it was a grass snake, and a very young one at that. But it looked pretty fierce. I'm sure it was, but yeah, so we carry down here, and then eventually we come out onto the road, and then we're going to walk along by the caravan park and then across the field, and I'll pick you up a little bit later. So a little bit of equestrianism going on around here. You can see some horses up there at the top of the hill. I don't know if you can see them, and over here a couple of little Shetland ponies up there, and this is the famous place where I saw the snake. So I've got to keep my eyes peeled, just in case one comes out and tries to kill me again like the other one did. But yeah, so we're heading up here, and we're going to go past the pub and down the road to where the caravan park is. But still, it's quite a nice day, not too bad. I'll see the sky there, winter sun, look at that. Not a bad day for walking all in all. So we'll see you just around the corner. Okay, so we're just coming past the Grange Country Park, over here you can see, and this road, they call it the Mile Straight, and I think you can probably see why. It goes on for about a mile apparently. I've never measured it, so I don't actually know whether it is a mile or not, but it does go on a little bit. Anyway, so what we're going to do, we'll walk along here for a little bit and take a left where that van's indicated, if you can see it, and then we'll cut across the fields and through the mud. So yeah, looking forward to that. So we come off the road, and now we're heading across towards the woodland in the distance, as you can see there. Now during the summer you always see a lot of hares round here. They're fucking huge, and they leg it really quick. But obviously there's not much cover at the moment because the fields are kind of bare. So you probably won't see any today. Once we get in the woods, you might see some pheasants and that, because they do organise shoots around here. so we might see a pheasant or some partridges, something like that. But as you can see, winter sun's out, quite mild, probably about 9-10 degrees maybe. A little bit of a breeze, but it's almost perfect for walking actually, to be fair. And so yeah, so we're heading that way. Sun's on our left, so we're heading west, as all you good geographers should know. And yeah, heading into the woods, see if we can see any bears. Okay, so we're now in the woods. As you can see, a little path runs down here. We're going downhill towards a little stream, and we need to be a bit careful because there's bears in here, and wolves and tigers have been spotted, the odd lion, anacondas as well, you know, ones that are sort of like 50-60 feet long. So yeah, we've got to keep our wits about us, because you never know when one might jump out and attack us. So, struggling up this hill here. It's quite steep. It's one of the steepest hills, well, it's the only steep hill on this walk. I mean, check this out. Goes all the way back down to the little brook. Yeah, it's a bit of a bend your legs, deep breaths, and fortunately it doesn't go on that far, but still quite steep. And then when you get to the top, it kind of opens out, and there's a beautiful big oak tree, which we should see in a minute. As you can see, look, you can see how far we come up, because over there, that line there, that's where we come down. So we come all the way up here, and then when we get to the top, hold on, opens right out. There's a beautiful old oak tree over there, and that wood over the far side there, that's where they do the managed pheasant shoots. But I don't know whether there'll be one today on Christmas Eve. I haven't heard anyone, so you never know. But yeah, got some lovely trees around here. So we're going to head across here, back across the field towards a pile of shit. Then we're going to cut down into Brantham, and along by the old factory where they're building the new houses, and struggle up what will probably be a very muddy hill. So we'll see in a bit. So now we're walking across, they usually grow wheat or barley on this field. The field behind us we just come across set aside this year for some reason. But obviously there's no cover at the moment. But see a little house down there, just stuck in the middle of nowhere. There you go, it's real sort of Hansel and Gretel type thing. And I don't know if you can just see the Stour estuary just in the background, looking out, and on the other side of the river will be Manning Tree. But we're heading a bit closer down there anyway, so we'll get a better view of that in a minute. So you can see a bit of blue sky, no planes, no birds even, but nice still day. So doing okay, and we'll be round the corner in a minute, heading down towards the main road and then across the road and onto the old factory site. So we'll see you there. Okay, so now we're heading across the field of summit, green stuff or whatever, I don't know, lettuce, grass, some old shit. So the pile of shit is over there, sort of about there. Can't really see it, but so we come around the other side of it, and we're now heading down. As you can see, the sun's in front of us, so geographers, that must mean we're heading south, which we are, heading down towards the main road, Brantham, and we'll get some better views of the river and Manning Tree on this other side with a bit of luck, as you can see. So we've come from over there, come across there, around the corner, and there's Brantham over there, and we can see a bit of that and the new posh houses. But yeah, so we're doing all right. So you'll have to bear with us, the battery's starting to die a little bit, which is a bit of a shame, but I just needed to show you this view. This is looking towards Stour estuary, as you can see down there. That's sort of looking up the river towards Constable Country, Dedham Vale. Rather a nice view actually. Let's sort of pan round. So yeah, it's good old Constable Country down there in the distance. Stour Valley. So we've come out of the fields and we're down at the bottom end of Brantham, a place called Cattlewade, and all this here used to be a massive chemical industrial site, and then about, well, I think about 15 years ago there was a big explosion, and I think maybe a few people were killed, and the site never kind of returned to working, and now it's all going to be houses. So just big piles of bricks. It's all going to be houses. When we get along here a little way, you'll be able to see where all the new houses are going up, and eventually they're going to go all the way down. I don't know if you can see the railway line just along there, going all the way down the bottom there. There is still the old RTI image data open right at the end, which we'll see when we get to the end of the road, but yeah, all old brownfield land that's all been cleaned, ready for some housing. So here we are, we're now down at Decoy Pond, as you can see. I don't think it's like decoy out of people just do nothing. I think it was called decoy long before he was. But yeah, it's quite nice. People fishing there. There's loads of fish in there. You can literally put your hand in there and pull a fish out. There's so many of them in there. But I'm just going to show you, this is the new housing now. See the new housing. It's quite a steep old slope that. We used to, when we first moved here, you could toboggan down that slope in the winter when it was snowing. You can see how much they've had to build the banks up. So and they're awfully close together, so you know, usual story, buy a load of land, stick as much as you can on it, but it's quite a steep angle, so I reckon the people lower down are going to have the opposite houses quite higher than theirs, so I don't think it will be good for getting much sunlight in your garden, but there you go, that's the way it is these days. So as you see, they have put in all these new paths around here, so it's quite nice. They're making a sort of country park sort of thing out of it, a bit like the one at Highwoods. But here's Decoy Pond. So we're just going to head off up the hill. Which is that way, and then we'll be back at the top, and we'll almost be back home. So we'll be there in a second. Yeah, so now we're at the top of the hill. This is all the new housing. You can see people moved in already, and they've paved the roads, block paving. That's quite nice, I suppose. And down there. So yeah, this is all new. This is all going all the way down to the river, which you can probably see in the distance down there, over the back of the railway line. It's sort of mistily over on the other side there. But yeah, we're nearly done. So yeah, we're about 5 miles. About 5 miles in tow. We just got to get up the hill here and back onto the estate. So yeah, that was northwest Brantham, out of the fields, west side, down to the river and back up the other side. So yeah, just I pray to God it all comes out all right. But yeah, anyway, see you soon.